Welcome to another Cabinda example tutorial. In this tutorial, we are going to construct a 4-bar linkage using the relative pole method, and we are going to do so in AutoCAD. Okay. So we have a set of given angles and given lengths, and in order to get the required angles, we have to divide the given angles by 2, and our gain values will be drawn in the negative direction. And we also have a length of 5.1 centimeters for 0.2 and 0.4, and 0.2 on A1 we have a length of 6.4 centimeters. Okay, so now that we have AutoCAD open, we are going to check our units, type units on our keyboard, and I have mine set to millimeters and a precision of 2 decimal places. And now we are going to draw the base or the anchor point. And firstly, we want to construct a circle with a radius of 1.25 millimeters, and we're going to offset this circle by 1.25. Okay, and now we're going to draw a line quadrant, and we're going to give it a length of 3.5. If you don't have quadrant, you can hold shift on your keyboard, right click, and now you have the snap settings, so you can select quadrant, and we're going to give it a length of 3.5. Okay, so now we're going to type MI on our keyboard, that is for mirror. Select this line, you can enter. Remember, you can enter using the right mouse button or enter on your keyboard. So we're going to use the midpoint. And do we want to erase the source? No, you can click on no, or you can type N. Okay, and now we're going to draw a horizontal line from this point to this point, and we're going to select that line, and we're going to select our grip, this grip, and we're going to grip it 0.7, and we're going to repeat the process for the other side, 0.7. And now we're going to draw another line. Let's make it approximately, okay, let's make it 0.90, and we can mirror this using the center point of this horizontal line. And you can, because we have no, we can just hit enter, and we can copy, or we can draw another line, doesn't really matter. You can copy this, and now we're going to hatch, and we're going to use ANS131, and we're going to set the scale to 0.5. If that is too big for your liking, you can make it 0.15. Okay, and we're going to delete this line. If you want, we delete this line, delete this line, and now this is our anchor point. Now that we have our anchor point drawn, we are going to draw a line from the center of our anchor point, and we know we need 5.1 centimeters, so that will be 51 millimeters. And we're going to copy our anchor point. We can copy it or mirror it, doesn't really matter. And we have our anchor points. Now I'm going to select this line. I go to my property bar. If you don't have your property bar on, you can hit Control and 1 on your keyboard, and you have the option to get your property bar. And I'm going to change the color to blue, and I'm going to give it a different line weight, approximately 0.30, something that I can see. And if you notice here, my line weight is on, so I can always see my line weight. And then I'm going to change the line type to a dashed line, and then I'm going to change the scale to something a little smaller, maybe 0.7. 0.7 is a little bit, so maybe 0.1, 0.1, too small. Let's go with 0.3. Yeah, that's good for me. Okay, so now we want to develop this line or this link. So we are going to draw a circle from this point with a radius of 6.4 centimeters. So let's draw that circle. So we know we are working with millimeters, therefore 6.4 centimeters is 64 millimeters. Okay, and now we're going to draw our bar. So take off F8, and with dynamic input we can key in that value, but I'm not going to do that. We're going to use the rotate copy method. So I'm going to select this line. I'm going to type RO on my keyboard. I'm going to select this point, okay, and then I'm going to type C on my keyboard, enter, and now I can give it an angle, and we know we want this, and all our angles are going in the negative direction, so minus 40, and enter. And now you can type EX on your keyboard, enter, you can click the circle, then enter, and then click the line, and you can select a line and you can change it to continuous or by layer, it doesn't matter. And now this is our O1 and A1, or O2 and A1. So now that we have our O2 and A1 drawn, we are going to start constructing our other reference points. Okay, so before we go any further, let's label our points. So we can either go annotate, or we can come under our small annotation tab in our home ribbon and we click multi-line text, and we're gonna hit here and we're gonna drag it out a little bit, and we're gonna type, I think text height of 2.5 is okay, or if you want 3, that's even better. Well, 2.5 is our default, but let's see if we have, let's see if we can type 3 here, enter. Okay, yes, 3, enter, works. And let's type O. If you want to type O or 0, it doesn't matter. Capital, uppercase, that is, and 2. And what you want to do, you want to highlight your 2, and here we have our subscript. Okay, and that's our first mark. So this is our O2, and what you can do, you can just copy this, put your F8 on for a smooth and straight copy, and you can highlight this, double click on it, highlight the 2, change it to a 4, highlight it again, and make it a subscript. Then you can just click outside of that, and now what you can do, you can just copy this line, or circle, sorry, copy this circle, take off the F8 for auto, and you can put that there. And if you want, you can make it a little bit smaller, maybe a radius of 1. Okay, and now you copy this one, and you're going to copy it to this point, and you're going to double click on it, and you're going to call it A1, highlight your 1, and make it a subscript. And that's how you label your points. Okay, so now we're going to construct these 2 reference points. We're going to construct this one, so we know this one is 13. We're going to construct this one, and then we're going to construct this one, which is 26, and then we're going to construct this one, this big one here, which is 40. And remember, they are going to be drawn in the negative direction. So what we're going to do, we're going to copy this, as we want some clarity. We don't want to confuse ourselves. So you can call it step 1 if you like, and then you can delete this line or circle. I normally say line because AutoCAD is just a bunch of lines and circles unless you go into the 3D aspect of it. Okay, so what we are going to do now, we're going to type RO on our keyboard. We're going to select this line. You're going to hit enter or right click on your mouse. We're going to use this point as our base point. We're going to take off our F8 auto, take it off so you can freely rotate, and we're going to type C on our keyboard for copy, enter, and now we're going to give it our first needed angle for our reference points, and we're going to type -26. And then you can click this line and you can make it a hidden line. You can change the scale back to 1, and you can give it a different color. Also, you can make your line weight by layer. We are going to draw another reference line here at an angle of 40, but remember we're coming in the negative direction. Okay, so you can do a rotate copy here and just type 40 to come in the negative direction, but what we can do is simply draw just a little horizontal line here. You can type MA on your keyboard, you can hit this line and match property it back to this one, and this is just another reference line. And what we are going to do with this line is rotate it just like what we have done previously. Okay, make sure auto is off, type C for copy, and then we're gonna hit -40. We could have copied this line as well back over here, because we know this line is also -40, but it doesn't really matter. Now you're going to click fillet, and you're going to type R, enter. Make sure your fillet has no radius, 0. And what you want to do, you want to click this line and this line, and now they meet at a particular point. So what you can do now is copy this and this, right click, copy selection, select a point, and you select where you want this to go, and you can double click on this, and now you can call this R13, highlight the 13 and make it a subscript. You can move it a little bit where you have clearer visual. Okay, and if you want to stay clear, you can come at Angular and you can just label spacebar to repeat, and you can just label your angles. And if you like, you can just give these a different color so you won't get confused. And then you can copy this. You can turn on your F8 or auto. F8 is short for auto, shortcut for auto, and you drop this here. So you can name the step 1, step 2, and we can call this step 3. So now that we have copied that, we're going to draw a line from our point A1, make sure your auto is off, to our R13. Okay, and you can match property. Let's match property the reference line up here. We can leave that. Okay, so we have a different color, and let's put an angle dimension here just for reference. And now we want to draw, we need another reference line. All right, so because we need equal angles, so these two angles should be equal. Yeah, so we know this angle here and this angle here should be equal, as well as this and this. So now we want to develop this line, because we already have this one and we already have this one. So what we are going to do, we're going to do a rotate copy, and we're going to select this line, and we're going to use this as our base point. We're going to type C on our keyboard for copy. So now we have a new line that we can rotate, and we know this is 14, so therefore we want to rotate that line in the -14 direction, and therefore it goes in this way because we rotate from this point. Okay, and we have 14 here, and now we should have 14 from this point to this point, 14 degrees. So now we want to draw our other reference lines, and we know we have one here coming at 27 and one here coming at 13. So we can just continue to use our rotate copy, RO, select this line, select here as our base point, C for copy, and we want this line to be -27. Okay, and we're going to repeat the same process for this one. RO, enter, and select our line that we need to rotate, enter again. This is our base point, C on our keyboard for copy, and we want this -13 degrees. Okay, so what you can do, you can select this line, you can maybe give it a different color, and now repeat the fillet process. Our radius is already set at 0. You select this line and the meet here, and on your keyboard for match properties, select this line, and now we have our new reference line. So we can go ahead and label this one, so we can copy this and you can put it here. Maybe move this a little bit further out, and we call this R12. And this subscript. Okay, and if you want this some reference, you can simply do that, and you can put another angular dimension there. Now we need two more reference lines. Well, this one, we can draw this one directly from A1 to R12, and we know we will have an angle here. These angles should be the same, 14 degrees. So we now need to develop this reference line and this reference line in order to get our other links and bars. So now let's draw a line from A1 to R12, and we can do a match property. You can use any one of these to match property, and we're going to just make this maybe green. Okay, so if we do an angular dimension between this yellow line, we know this is 14, so therefore we need 14 here. So we need to make this line correspond with this, so we have two angles of 14 degrees. So how do we do that? We're going to select this line, RO on your keyboard. We need a base point. Here is our base point. Okay, C for copy, and we're going to give this negative 14 degrees. So now if we use our angle dimension, you know this is 14 as well, and where these two lines intersect, this will be our new link. So what you can do, you can copy this and this, copy this, and intersection. If you don't have intersection, you can hold shift on the keyboard, right click, and you can choose intersection from here, and you only have the option to place a circle where they intersect. And you can go ahead and you can call this P1. Highlight your 1 and make it subscript, and now you can draw your other bars. And you can match properties by typing MA, and if you want to even go a bit further to make it more understandable, you can copy those and you can call this N2, highlight your 2, subscript, repeat the same process, N1, highlight, subscript, and here you have your 4-bar linkage using the relative pole method. Thank you for tuning in to another tutorial with Cabinda examples, and remember, everything that you do, do it well. Bye for now.